Hello everyone, my name is Kitetsu and welcome back to my channel. So I know I've been away for a while, but I'm just so glad that I can finally get back to talking about some news. And I thought, how do I get back into doing this? It's been a bit of an almost writer's block in a sense, because I've been away and I've missed some such exciting stuff that I really wanted to talk about and I didn't get a chance to do so. And the problem with news is it just keeps moving forwards. You know, old news is not necessarily as interesting to some people anymore. And I do want to go back and talk about some of the Age of Sigmar stuff, but at the moment it just seems to all be about 40k. We've had Warhammer Fest Europe yesterday. They put this box up for pre-order, and for quite a while now, all of the posts on Warhammer community have mostly been about Space Wolves, 40k, just anything 40k basically. So why am I talking about it here? I know there's loads of 40k channels out there, believe me, I know that, but I think I have a kind of unique angle to take on 40k. And that's that I've only been getting into it really recently. Behind the scenes on my channel, some of you will know that I've actually kind of been getting into 40k for a couple of months now, maybe a bit more than that. But I got back into it with the Orks and I've got quite a large collection of those now. I'm also collecting Imperial Knights, which I'm absolutely loving. But yeah, the focus will always be Age of Sigmar. So the second there's news that comes out for Age of Sigmar, I'll be back on that, especially if it's something big. But at Warhammer Fest, we only got a few little teasers of a new Endless spell and some updates to Shadespire with not a lot else. And I thought, whilst things are quiet, why should I not talk about 40k? I'm going to leave that discussion basically with me saying that, you know, this channel is about me talking about the things I like talking about, and if I don't enjoy talking about it, it gets to the point where it's not fun for you guys to listen. So I'm always going to talk about the things I want to talk about, and that's basically the way my channel will go. You do get a bit of fatigue talking about the same thing week in, week out, and I like just having a bit of variety. So I'm going to talk about this new set that's coming out, and the pre-orders went up yesterday, so I was kind of waiting for the pre-orders to go up to have a more meaningful discussion as to whether this is a good value set and whether you should buy it. And as I said, because I'm new with 40k relatively, it's kind of good for me to share my journey into this hobby, and there are going to be loads of other people who are in that exact same boat and they're thinking, should I buy this? Is this a good time to get into the hobby? You know, all of those kind of questions equally relate to me as much as other new people into this hobby. I'm not an extreme beginner. I mean, over the last few weeks, I've read literally 5 40k novels, and I've really been getting into the Horus Heresy, which makes me love the Space Marines. But, you know, Genestealer Cults didn't even exist back when I first got into 40k. So anyway, let's take a little look at this box. We've seen what's in it. I'm sure you've seen it on the news articles. I'm sure you've seen it on so many 40k videos, which I haven't watched any of, but I guess when I first looked at this box, I wasn't interested, and that's because it was Genestealer Cults, and I thought, well, why is this not Space Wolves against Orcs? That would have made so much more sense. And then I thought, well, depending on how much this box is going to cost, I'm buying yet another army, and I've got so many, maybe about 15 armies by now, maybe more. And every time I look at something like this, I have to say to myself, number one, do I want to buy it? And number two, should I want to buy it? And I really do have to question it now because I've got so many models. I'm running out of space to put all of them. It costs a lot of money, and I do sympathise with all those people who are feeling the stretch and the pain on their wallets, because Games Workshop have not given us much of a break recently. It's just been fantastic release after fantastic release. But yeah, no Orcs in the box. I'm getting distracted. Genestealer Cults I was not really feeling. Like, when I was looking through the article, I saw the Abominant and I thought, to be honest, he looks absolutely fantastic. And my ability to paint it like that, I think, will make or break this model, because he looks so good with this paint scheme and these subtle fades across his arms. I don't know if I'm going to be able to do that, even down to the scratches on his hammer. Whoever has painted this has done such a good job. But he does look amazing, and I really like these guys as well. The new Aberrants, they look fantastic too. Again, might come down to the paint scheme, but I do like them. They really remind me of The Hills Have Eyes, if any of you have seen that horror film. Literally, that's all about these people who live underground and they're mutated by radiation and stuff like that, and they come out with pickaxes and start murdering people, and it sounds like there's been a lot of inspiration there from Games Workshop. But yeah, they do look cool, and I thought, well, I've just started collecting some Primaris Marines and the Death Watch in particular, so I thought, do I really want to collect a new chapter? but actually Space Wolves have always interested me. I think I was just waiting for new models, and although this is a whole nother video talking about Primaris Marines, whether I like the lore of the Primaris Marines, I love the sculpts. So now that they've kind of got these upgrade sprues, that's so much more tempting to me. But also, I didn't mention this guy. Look how good his sculpt is. It looks absolutely amazing. Even down to his head sculpt, it looks incredible. I'm probably showing my ignorance here, but can someone explain down below what a battle leader is? Because he's been described as a battle leader, and it's like, well, we have chaplains, lieutenants, captains, all sorts of stuff. I don't know what a battle leader is. Is it a Space Wolf thing? I've never really collected them, so I don't know. But the gist of that story is I've been waiting for some updated models, just some new ones really, and these to me just do not disappoint. I think that looks incredible. And you get your Redemptor Dreadnought in there, you get the Aggressors, you get the Intercessors. It's basically a nice kit. Right, so looking in the box, this is where things start becoming very much more appealing. The Redemptor Dreadnought is £40 on its own, and in the box you get the plasma option for it, which is great. The Aggressors are £30 on their own, and I know there's easy build ones out there, but those ones you're stuck with those flame gauntlets, whereas these ones you can build in the way you want to. And the Intercessors are £35, and you only get 5 instead of a box of 10 like this. So when I've calculated the value down here, I've just divided that in 2. But again, you can give them the bolt gun or the auto gun style weapons, whatever you prefer, which is a massive plus for me. I think it would have been a bit lazy if they just chucked the easy build stuff in here, and especially because I already own all of that easy build stuff. I want to feel like I'm actually getting something a bit different here. But then of course we get the upgrade sprue as well. But when you tot up the value of everything here, it comes to £95.50, and that is excluding the battle leader. So if you went out and bought this box set, you are literally saving money just based on the Space Wolves content in the box. That's quite amazing. I reckon this guy is going to be £15 to £20 roughly in value as well. So, you know, very good value in terms of that. And they were claiming it's like buying 2 start collecting sets in one box, and that kind of does seem to make sense here. In terms of the Genestealer Cults, the Metamorphs are 25, the Genestealer Brood would be about £18, and the Icon Ward would be about 15. The new set of 5 down here, I was thinking they would probably cost about the same as the Metamorph, so I've listed them down here as 25. And as for this guy, I have no idea, but I would be thinking at least £20. I didn't include him in the calculation, but if we do take these as being worth 25 for the new set, and they could be even more, who knows, this is Games Workshop, you're looking at £83 for everything here, excluding the Abominant. So again, fantastic value. If you add up the 83 and the £95.50, you've got £178.50, and that's excluding this guy and it's excluding this guy. So overall, the value of the set is very, very good. And when you paint them up as Space Wolves, they do look pretty damn good with that colour scheme. But that's just an aside. The other thing I wanted to talk about, I guess, was the lore of the box. Because as I said, the first thing I thought was, I'm really disappointed this has not got some orcs in. But if I really quickly summarise the backstory of what's going on here, it actually makes a lot of sense. And all of the stuff with the orcs and Space Wolves is literally happening right alongside this box. So they've tied it in really well. You know, Genestealers, as I said when I started the video, they didn't even exist when I was back into 40k, so you know, it's refreshing to find a new army, I guess, for me at least. But you've got this planet called Vigilus, and it's a bit like Cadia in that it's kind of a gateway world, and it protects the only safe route across the Great Rift. So naturally it's a very important place, and it was covered in these massive shields. But when the Great Rift occurred, those weakened, and all of a sudden the Orc invasions are gaining traction. The problem is that underground you have the Genestealer Cults, and they have a very powerful force, but they've been waiting under there and biding their time, and they weren't actually ready to erupt onto the surface, but because of the Orc invasion, they've decided it's now or never, so they've burst onto the scene. So the storyline basically starts with the Imperium under attack from the Orcs, and because the Orcs slowly start taking over the planet, the Genestealer Cults then erupt from underground. This is starting to sound a little bit like the storyline of Gears of War, but they erupt from underground, and then the planet starts falling into a very, very dire situation. We've got Skitarii kill teams trying to fight off the Genestealer cults, and again, I like the way they're tying kill team into this because it just adds more narrative, and for me, the backstory is the reason why I like the models in the first place. But yeah, the Skitarii slowly start failing. Every time they try and get to the source of the Genestealer cults, they're just annihilated. So the planet is basically doomed. It's gonna fail, it's gonna fall, and they send out a distress signal. The only people who hear the distress signal are the Space Wolves, who are apparently lost and off course or something like that. So that's the premise for the box, is basically when the Space Wolves arrive to save the day. It sounds intriguing, it's a good setup, and I like the fact they've tied it in with Kill Team. I like the fact they've tied it in with the Orks, and obviously the brand new Space Wolf Codex, which is coming out as well. So overall, the storyline gets my seal of approval. The value of the box itself gets my seal of approval too. I mean, I was thinking, well, £90, it's still quite expensive. I looked on eBay and thought, well, what if I just wanted to get the Space Wolf half of the box, and it was £50 with postage. I think it came to 55, and to be honest, that would still be a very good deal for what you're getting there. But then it just made me think, well, where I buy my Warhammer from, it's less than £70 this box set anyway, so for £15 more, you would get all of the Genestealer cult stuff too. And I guess the other way you could look at it is that you're getting more than £90 worth of value just from the Space Wolves, so all of the Genestealer cult stuff is free or vice versa. And as always, you can just split this box up. So yeah, basically in summary, it's great value. You get a lot of great figures in there. You get a lot of modelling opportunities because they're not easy build. I really can't overstate the value. I think that's the best thing about it. But also with such a great narrative and all of these links, it's going to fit really well into the release of the Ork Codex, especially if we get some new models, which I really hope we do. And it fits great into Kill Team. Overall, I think it's definitely a worthy buy. But that's my opinion. I'm going to leave this here. I have no idea what any of the rest of the community's response to this has been, because this is literally my first real time considering it. But let me know in the comments if this is something you're interested in buying, or maybe just what the general consensus is of this box and whether it's good. But otherwise, I'm going to leave this video here. Thank you very much for watching. Don't forget to like the video, don't forget to subscribe if you're new, and I will see you guys really soon.